Hello, everyone, and welcome to our daily live for Reclaiming Your Authority with myself, where we take on the law of assumption and we unmask the different manipulations or limitations that we were brought into this world with, is one way to put it. We're stripping them down so you can reclaim your authority. If you're new here, check out the past videos. For everyone else, welcome back. Okay. It's going to be a little different. We're not going to do the script tonight. What I want to do is really look at, okay, when we are listening to these videos, we are reclaiming our authority. We're using the law. And we are again and again using our awakened imagination, our inner conversations, to stay in a state of actually being the operant power of your reality. What is going to happen inevitably is your outer world is going to reflect those limiting beliefs or assumptions where we used to change our state in reaction to it, right? We were trained or conditioned to fight, to be in flight, to people please. Essentially, any reaction to your outer world is a submission. It's you telling your outer world, okay, you're actually in charge, I give up. I'm not really the operant power. And when we just see it that straightforward, because it doesn't mean anything else. The outer world, whatever it's showing you, it is neutral. That doesn't mean there's not going to be a lot of emotion tied to it. There will be, especially the really deeply ingrained stuff. And I spoke on this yesterday. You need to feel the emotion. Repressing it, suppressing it is also, in a sense, you submitting and saying, oh, I won't get my wish fulfilled if I feel that anger or if I feel that sadness. Like I have to be in a perfect state of being. You can be sad, you can be happy, you can be angry, you can be totally defeated and apathetic. And your state of being can still be, I'm the operant power. I'm wealthy, I'm loved, I'm adored. I have it all. It's just like, what are your certainties? That is what makes up your state of being. What are your certainties? And then the emotion, right, is normally telling you, okay, there's some type of belief or definition that's coming up right now that just needs to be changed. I can still, and I want to feel the power of that emotion, because as we reclaim our authority and the 3D world is showing us all the old stuff, the shadow, right? The subconscious is like, hi, here are the things we haven't confronted yet. In every moment, our state of being is the only thing that we need to stay focused on. And a state of being allows all feelings at all times. But you do not submit to the 3D. You don't allow it to dictate if things are going right or wrong, who you are, what you should or shouldn't do. No, it's just a mirror. It's just reflecting. So coming into that dominance at all times, and then there's like a dance, right? We come into the dominance of like, I'm going to stay in my center. I'm going to feel what I'm feeling. I'm going to allow the emotions to come through. But I'm going to have enough awareness to change those thoughts as they come up. So even if I'm feeling like, oh, it's not working. Oh, they're rejecting me. Oh, they're confronting me. You might be filled with terror. You might be filled with like, I'm going to lose everything. People think I'm crazy. What am I doing? Feel the overwhelm. Feel the terror. Like learn to expand into it. I mean, in yoga and in Tantra too, it's like one of the teachings I've been really implementing in this with law of assumption is when you can feel everything, but you still decide the meaning. Okay, now you're God of your reality, right? So I can feel terror. I can feel shame. I can feel guilt. I can see the thoughts coming with it. And I can allow the emotion to move through it. So like, let's actually do it together right now. I want you to imagine Or just take the most recent 3D experience that felt impossible to change. It feels like the thing, okay, as much as I try to claim authority in this, as much as I try to imagine my wish fulfilled, I keep getting the opposite. And I want you to allow that to come back. It's okay. You're safe. Allow it to come back. Whatever it was that on the inside, probably an inner child, was still making the meaning of something in the mirror. And it's like, yeah, that's not safe. I need to change my behavior. I need to do something different, which is always changing your state of being versus, okay, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling terror. The bank account is low. My person's not responding, or they're saying they're going to leave. It's something I really desire and want. It's not showing up. And there's going to be that impulse to act. There's going to be that part of you, right? The inner child that's like, I got to change this, or I got to freeze, or I got to fight, whatever it is. And this is where, to the best of our ability, if we can stay present and remain in the state of being, that I have whatever the thing is. No, I'm wealthy. I'm loved. I'm cherished. Whatever's happening out here, it can unfold, but the meaning is always, this is my wish fulfilled. I don't care what it looks like. Does it actually mean they don't like me or love me? No. Does it actually mean that I'm messing everything up? No. I'm just feeling emotions of terror, of fear, of old conditioning. Because that makes sense. I was conditioned to think I had to do a certain thing to get a certain thing. And now I'm using the law of assumption to realize that consciousness does everything. So I don't have to do anything anymore. There's no conditions anymore, except to keep reclaiming my authority in my state of being. So I can feel the terror. I can feel the shame, the guilt of like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I should apologize. I should do this. Or, oh, I better not. Like something's going wrong. Okay, I can feel the terror. I can feel the shame. And I can breathe through it. And I can realize that's just energy moving through me. And I can transmute that. I can use that. I can actually feel the shame and guilt and fear. And there's a lot of energy. And I can actually harness this to be like, yeah, no, this actually, even in the shame, even in this guilt, even in the like sinking feeling of like, oh my God, I want to get so small. What have I done? And it's still working out. Okay. This is my reality transforming. Okay. They hate me. No, they love me. They love me. They do. Oh, I messed up. I need to go work harder. No, my bank accounts are full. And you can still stay in a state of being, even with that sinking, even with that fear, even with that terror. And when you can learn to write out the impulsivity to act, or even if you do act, fine, whatever action I took, it brought me more love. It brought me more affection, because it doesn't actually matter. As long as you are determining the meaning you're making, you're staying in your state of, I'm God of my reality. I decide what it means. Every single time. Well, then you are always in your wish fulfilled. Because everyone's wish fulfilled at the end of the day is to come back to being the God of your reality, to having that freedom, that bliss, the wish fulfillment, no matter what is happening. And so there's this dance between, I'm going to submit in a sense to the feeling and I'm going to ride it through, because that expands your ability to like hold energy. A big thing in yoga and tantra, and it's good for sex and everything, is the more you can feel sadness, shame, guilt, and you see it and feel it in your body's energy. Okay, well, your vessel, in a sense, your body, is just opening to be able to expand and to hold the bliss that is always under there, the ecstasy that is always under there. I mean, just like in a good romance or like lovemaking, right? There is a little bit of like fear, vulnerability can be a little scary. There's a heightened sensation of emotion. And the more you can learn to ride it and be with it and not make meaning or not let the little thoughts that you are conditioned to believe to like hold the show, right? If you can still kind of take charge, you're like, nah, and it's good anyway. It's working out anyway. This is happening. This is part of the experience. This is part of my bridge. Okay, that's true power. Because what true power is not, right, is I need to avoid this feeling, or I need to suppress this feeling, or I need to do something differently to make my wish fulfilled, like work again. That's you again submitting to your 3D, which in a very neutral environment, every time you submit to the 3D, your state of being is the 3D is in charge. Your nervous system is like, okay, well, I guess 3D is still king, queen, god of my reality. Versus, no, I can feel this. This is part of growth. This is part of transformation. Nothing's gone wrong. And I can hold my state of being. I don't need to do anything except have the inner conversation, or just change like one line by one line. Even if I'm feeling like nothing's working, but it's all working. Okay, fine. Nothing's going on. It's not happening. I'm not seeing what I want, and I'm seeing what I want. And it's already done, and it's unfolding. I mean, just those little like changes of the script, changes of the inner conversation. Every time you do a little bit of that, that is you reclaiming your authority, your dominance. And then there's that dominance of submitting to, but I know my wish fulfilled. I saw the ring. I saw the amounts in my bank account. I heard what I wanted to hear. So there's that submission, like a dominant submission to your wish fulfilled every time, which again is reclaiming your authority. It's like, and even though I'm terrified and even though I'm scared, I'm gonna like dominantly submit, like a lover, like Neville talks about that, to what I already know is true, the gift that was already given, to what I saw in my imagination, because my imagination is the only cause. And the mirror will change, it has to. And I don't really even care if it does. Because my authority and me reclaiming this is all that matters. Now, where I've found this gets very uncomfortable, at least for me, was when I felt like what I was doing was hurting others. And that's been a big thing for me, is as I came into my power and as I'm coming into it and I'm getting more into like the parts of Katie I lost, right? The more rebellious, more confident, more like, this is what I want. This is like what's happening. Okay. There was so much conditioning around pleasing others or asking for permission that I always equated getting what I want meant others would be hurt in the process or others would suffer. And I would go out of my way to make sure others did not suffer because I didn't want them to suffer like I did growing up. And this is where, again, it's the little intentions in our state of being and our definitions about life that we have to reflect on, where, yes, there was a lot of suffering. I went through that. Okay, I don't think anyone should go through that. And the suffering that has been more like self-reflective or certain things where there's been growth, and I've had the conscious ability as an adult to grow through, okay, that's completely worth it. There's always going to be a little bit of discomfort and growth and expansion. And when we know that, we're not flinching from it, it's actually, and can be, ecstatic, like beautiful. It's like, okay, progress, cool. And then another thing I had to take on, part of the unmasking, and this is like more in my course, but allowing others to feel the burn as I came more into my power, not shrinking for others, not people pleasing, not doing things that I was doing to accommodate others because, right, the little girl in me thought it would keep me safe. And it did to when I had no conscious ability to do otherwise. But now, as the adult with my inner child, it's like, okay, when others are experiencing discomfort, this is where, as the operant power of our reality, and again, to be at this level, to really pursue this, you have to come from the heart and self-trust. Like, I know I'm never here to actually harm someone or hurt someone. But I took that to the extreme where Also, when others are going through discomfort, but I'm refusing to shrink. And I had to really take this on my daughter, where I had to be really stern. I could see she's so upset. It's like, oh, everything in me wants to cave. It wants to just like nourish her and cherish her. We can still do that, but trust the process of discomfort when it's with the intention of growth. That's her building, right? Her own authority, building her ability. And obviously you do it at appropriate levels, but adult to adult, right? Where it's like, okay, others are going to get uncomfortable when you come into your power. Others are going to get uncomfortable when you cannot be manipulated. The mirror will show what looks like discomfort or even suffering or like other ways of guilt and stuff. And again, it's a mirror. It's from old conditioning. It's your old assumptions coming up and being like, well, when I come into my power, people don't like it. People take it from me. Whatever reasons that you were people pleasing, that's going to come up. And at least for me, it's like, no, when I come into my power and I stay here, no matter what, even if I see their discomfort, I see their suffering, a big part of the people pleasing, because it's from a very immature standpoint when we're younger. Part of the self-trust is also the trust in others, that the people in our lives that are at our level, which is what we want like reciprocity, will also take the discomfort in life like I have, like you have, and will expand into it. They'll grow into it. And of course you can imagine that too. And allowing them to have that experience, because part of people pleasing, right, was our younger selves trying to protect us, but it is technically manipulation. We're trying to say, mirror, like, okay, I'm going to make sure you're good so you don't hurt me. And that's how I'm controlling your behavior, is by me like being in charge of your emotions, right? And this is where it's like in the outer world, in the 3D, part of that submission again is like, however it's unfolding is perfect. We don't have control. We have control of our inner state and the meaning we make of it. And the meaning you always want to make is, first and foremost, I'm going to stay in my authority. I'm going to stay in my wish fulfilled. I'm going to feel what I need to feel and work through that. That's cool. But I'm not going to change the meaning. It always means expansion into wealth, expansion into love, expansion into radiance, happiness, whatever your thing is, into belonging, into importance, whatever your wish fulfilled is. That never changes. No matter what's happening, it's always expanding that state. And then however it's playing out, part of this like dominance on the inside, submitting to the wish fulfilled, and then allowing this to play, it's never passive. It's just you always decide the meaning of however this is playing out, it's expanding into my authority. It's expanding into others rising to meet me or leaving completely, and that's okay too. But it's all part of my bridge. And so all the places we were like conforming, complying to the 3D, if you're operating power, that doesn't make sense anymore. Right? There's no external fate anymore. There's no second causes anymore. There's no like, what's the right path? Tell me what to do. Am I doing the right thing? I mean, it's being an adult, being the operant power and saying, okay, I don't look for external validation because it's just reflecting. I decide what it means. And there's going to be terror that comes up with that. There's going to be little parts of you that were taught the opposite. And this is where, to me, to have that authority and trust in yourself as the operant power, that they can still have the terror, they can have the fear, the shame, the guilt, but you don't move from the wish fulfilled. That's some good self-parenting. I mean, let me know your thoughts, but the biggest thing I wanted to communicate tonight is it's gonna get chaotic. It does. I know I've seen like in past law of assumption stuff, a lot of that bypassing and avoidance, and obviously everyone's experience will be different, okay? But what I would rather normalize is like, yeah, everything that you didn't realize you were giving up your authority to, big picture too, right? Like societal regulations and rules and like gender specific things and like the law and like, I mean, it can all become incredibly confronting if you're now going to decide, no, I am the operant power. That's what I'm here to do. And that's why allow the terror, allow the fear, allow the shame, allow the guilt, but don't make it mean anything more than this is just old conditioning. This is emotion that can finally be released. And my only job, besides doing my best to feel it and not condemn myself and not repress, is to, when I can, I'm going to catch the thoughts that are like attached to these emotions of like, oh, it's not working, or I did that wrong, or I have to conform to the mirror in some way. No. And again, I give you so much permission. I mean, give it to yourself. You're the only one that can. Is that even like in this melancholy, oh, everything's going wrong. In that same tone, you can be like, and it's all going right. It doesn't have to get all happy and positive. Absolutely not. Certainty is just certainty in any state. So yeah, there's nothing in my bank account's not working, but it is working because I saw the numbers in my imagination. Fine. I have to conform. I have to make them happy. I can't. They might leave me. No, they're not going to leave me. They love me. They are me. I want to act, and I can act whatever, but like, I'm loved either way. I'm still the authority. This is part of the bridge. Right? And so especially in those like really charged emotions, you don't have to go and get happy. You don't even have to like neutralize it. You can just feel it. And in the same tone, you can be like, and it's all working out. It's still my wish fulfilled. I'm still the operant power. I'm doing everything wrong and I'm doing it all right because I'm the only one doing anything. Okay. So again, it's allowing the authority to come in all emotional states. Because at the end of the day, the only state we are maintaining is that you're the operant power. You make the meaning and everything is your bridge. It was already given to you. Let me know your thoughts. I'll see you tomorrow. And we might do more of the workshop. We'll just see. Well, no, we'll see what happens. All right. Bye.